We don't miss out on things because they are not visible to us. We miss out on things because we are too focused on something else. This happens in our financial health as well. We focus on hitting certain income. We focus on getting to a certain level of savings before we allow ourselves to have fun or do certain things. We focus on chasing after market returns. We focus on watching our investment up and down every day or watching the market or whatnot until we miss out that there's a gorilla walking through the scene. So that is a bad analogy because definitely gorillas always.
This podcast shares personal stories and professional insights to support your financial well being, but it's not a substitute for personal financial, investment, or legal advice. Everyone's situation is unique. Please seek qualified, independent support that fits your life and goals. The full disclaimer and copyright notice is in the episode notes.
Hello and welcome back to the Financial Health Insight podcast. This is a podcast that helps you to reduce your money stress, to live well today and also tomorrow. I'm your host, Kevin Neoh, certified financial coach and also a licensed financial planner. And this week is not just another episode to me. This week, this episode now it's the episode number 53. And that means by next week, on the 18th of April, this podcast will exactly turn 1 year old. It's been 12 months, but 54 episodes because there's two additional episodes throughout this 12 months period. And because this is a weekly podcast, right? And honestly, uh, I I have never imagined that we will get to this point. In fact I nearly cannot record this episode because recently life has been just a lot on my plate, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to finish and rush. So maybe just too busy. Yeah, and every one of us can relate to that. But exactly because of that, maybe that's why I should make sure I record this. And I'm glad that now I'm sitting here. I even purposely turned off the light so that it's more serious. So this week, let's take some time to reflect, to reconnect, not just with you guys, with the listener or the new listener, but also reconnect with myself and do some reflection. And to also thank you all because all the downloads. And by the way, I still remember yesterday. Today is 9th of April. So yesterday was 8th of April. Yesterday I was counting the number of downloads and it was such an amazing feeling to see that the number is now standing at 1919 1919. Hopefully by next week we will get to 2000 or even more than that already. I believe that we will, and that's why it's to thank you also and to share what this journey of doing this podcast has taught me, not just about money obviously, but also about starting, taking a start at something, how to grow, how to fall, and how to get up and show up again also. So today's topic on the surface, it might not feel like how can it be relatable to financial health, but I'm sure by the end of this episode, you will see that and you will feel that and you will understand how it relates to our financial health and also our overall well-being of our life. Just like last week episode, this week episode is going to be very, very, very unfiltered also and very honest and real, but nonetheless very meaningful. So let's get started, shall we? So let's talk about the first thing I want to cover is to start small and why it's important that we talk about this. Because you see, when I first think about doing podcasting, it was definitely like many years ago. I never thought of it. About 4 years ago, by now it's 5 years ago. I had the opportunity to join a group of financial advisors in Australia. So we were talking about this is a group that is about learn and learn and how to start a podcast in, if I'm not mistaken, it's just 2 weeks or 3 weeks time or just less than a month, that kind of time, if not mistaken. So I thought because of the time frame, there's a deadline, it would be very helpful for me to really try and do it. So I joined that, and that was why I started the very, very first episode and the second episode back then, few years ago. But honestly, when I think about having a podcast, I can say that what I was very likely to be telling myself, the kind of a reason or excuses that I fit to myself, would be something like I cannot do this because number one, I'm not a person who likes to talk. I don't even know how to speak in a good way, or in a way that really communicate messages to people. But it's also through my interaction and experiences talking to people that I slowly realize that, because the feedback I get is that I am able to break things down and communicate certain concept and complicated things in a very simple and layman way. So that's also how I get more accustomed and more comfortable about my own strength. But the fact is, it's not just about talking. Also, it's also about what to talk, what to say. What are the things that maybe I think people would like it, but what if it's just me, right? And also through the many years of working as a financial planner, that especially from writing article for newspaper and also interviews for newspaper magazines and TV and also radio show, that I started to have this affirmation that actually whatever that is important to people, I would know because I deal with people day to day. I get questions from people, from real client, right? So I can actually take all these questions and see how I can pack them together and share with you, share with the listener, and that's how the confidence start to that the there's if there's a invisible meter of confidence, it start to add 1%, 1%, 1%, just like that. And of course, it's not just about that as well. There's also many, many other excuses like, hey, what about microphone? What about lighting? What about what kind of software do I use? I know how to use the simple things to do financial planning, but I'm not the one who is trained or have any experience or exposure to do all these things, including how to set up a podcast. It's not like setting up a bookshelf, you see, it's invisible, it's all in the cloud. And how to do editing. All these are the kinds of things that's really it's very easy for me to say no because I don't know how to do all this, so let's just stop. I still remember the first microphone I bought. It was in year 2019, just 3-4 months before COVID-19 and MCO happened. It was the end of 2019. So the reason I bought that mic was just because I was designing and planning how to slowly convert my work into work from anywhere and to start to offer virtual financial coaching and meetings. So I thought I needed a mic. So the first mic I bought was a mic that I cannot use, right? Because it cannot get connected to the computer, right? It was an XLR mic. So it was wrong. That's how that's how rookie I was. That's how dumb I was. But luckily, they agreed to change. I even drove all the way to Batu Cave to change to the same mic, but change from that different connection to USB connection. So that's the thing that I have went through in the past. It definitely all those things, they were good reason for not doing this. And let's be honest, I almost didn't start. And in fact, I started and then I also took a break because it's just not so easy to do. It takes a lot of time. Of course, last time, uh, 4 5 years ago, I wanted to make sure there's a subtitle there. So I have to type one word by one word. That's how the learning curve it was. And to do one episode, not just the recording, excluding the hours on recording and planning the contents, to just add the subtitle to the video itself can take more than 2 hours. because it's a long episode, you see. So, but all these actually came together eventually and helped me. But I must say that having good software, like, with AI feature that help you to do transcription, helps tremendously. But at the end of the day, this thing just came out a few years ago, right? 2, 3 years ago. But the podcast, the idea, the courage to do it, to make a decision to really go ahead and do it, these are things that no software, no AI, no productivity program can help you to make a movement. All this must come from within. And if we aim to do everything big, beautiful, perfect, wonderful, I think it will be very difficult for us to start, even though you have this software, that software. And it's just that when you have started, like for me, I have started, I realized that this is the problem, this is the bottleneck. And when there is a new function from the software, that AI transcription, very helpful. Even for editing, just delete the word and the whole clip will be shortened. All this came later. And it is how that I realized this is my pain point. Then I look for something that can help me address the pain point. But if I haven't started doing it, I wouldn't even have the pain point. And therefore, these things are not going to be relevant to me at all, right? So I think the thing I can learn from here is the lesson is we can get stuck easily, because especially when we feel like we need to start big, we need to start with a very beautiful perfect version of whatever product or program you want to do. But I think that's a good thing in this belief or this intention or desire is good, because you want to make sure you give your best, right? But also exactly like everything have two sides. This desire could be the very reason that stop us or prevent us from moving forward. It is usually the first barrier. So let's go back to our financial planning or financial health. When someone say, I'll start saving when I can have more, or when I can save bigger amount, only I start, or when I'll start investing when I have learned how to, or I learned this and that. I think by the time you learn all these things, you might have different new things that you needed to learn, keep up, and therefore you will have new things that require your attention instead of doing what you should be doing or plan to do initially. So the truth is, or not so much, not so heavy like it's a truth, but I think the essence here is that starting small, the perfect is the vision we have, is your goal, but you need something to bridge you towards that, right? And it is starting small is the bridge, because all the small, tiny little steps and baby steps, when we put all of them together, it's no longer a small steps. So start small and you build your momentum from there. And if you start small and you feel that I thought it's enjoyable, but I realized that actually I didn't really like doing this, it also helps you to avoid overcommitted any resources there also. So starting small, I think it has is very good benefit, and almost every people who started something or achieve something or get to certain milestone, I think when they reflect back, they would agree that they actually started small, and that's also one of the key that they are still doing what they are doing now, right? And you imagine like a children, like a child, okay, or just like adult also we do this. It's called cycling. So riding a bicycle, to move forward, you must keep your balance, right? And to keep your balance, you must move forward, because if you stop, you will not be able to keep your balance. So you cannot find your balance unless you allow yourself to move forward and continue to be in motion. So if you wait until you feel steady before you pedal, you are likely to be just stay there, not moving. Then you get what you want. But that's not what you really want, right? You want to be moving, not try to not fall down, something like that. So even now, like this week is episode 53, but honestly, I'm still learning. See, there's a lot to learn in life, right? So still try to cycle a little bit forward now and then. Lah. If you've been waiting, so if you have been waiting or telling yourself that I need to wait until the right time to start, maybe what you needed wasn't the right time. Maybe you don't need the right time, the right condition, or the right this and that. What you need is just start now, and the right thing will slowly refine itself, and you will slowly discover what that this is the right decision that you have made for yourself. I think that is how we can grow and make something happen. Just to emphasize again, it's not to aim for the big picture or perfect. Important to keep it in your head, but break it down to a smaller step so that you can see the step that you can feel comfortable and confident of in taking it, right? So like I said, starting this podcast is also something I have never expected, but it only happened because I found a good reason why this is a good thing to do and why it matters to me, and what it means to me. So starting this also helped me in many ways. It helped me to learn new things, make new friends, also helped me to reconnect with people that I have not spoken to or have lost contact for quite some time, with friends, with peers, with clients, and also making new friends from people that I never know before, and also know myself better throughout the process. And speaking of people that I haven't known before, and it is because of this podcast, recently I received a comment just few 2 days ago only, a comment from one of the YouTube video from last week, which is on the ASD cross fin health, sharing my personal journey and feelings about my life experience with autism with my son. So that comment was, of course, it's a little bit surprised to get a comment, but it's a good surprise. It came from someone whom I believe is a father. So it came from a father sharing his experience parenting a young boy named Scott, who is also on the autism spectrum and born the same year with my son Kobe. So he described everything he planned started from the beginning of year 2020, and then how discovering the ASD news had his plans crumble and shattered, and his child struggle with speech, sensory sensitivities, and attending therapy, and his decision for the wife to become a full-time caregiver to the son. So I quote what he wrote, well, while I'm at work, I'm overthinking, I feel overwhelmed, I'm also wondering, why me, why us, did we do something wrong, something like that. And that's exactly what I have gone through as well. So I can relate to that very well. And one thing for sure is it takes a lot of big heart and courage for someone to write this on social media, to share again with a total stranger called Kevin, you know. And he also said something that caught my attention, that I feel this is important for us to learn, is when I see Scott improve each month, I started to see hope. It's all baby steps, starting to stay positive and start to understand this is a journey that there must be a reason behind all this that we are going through. So it relates very well to what I shared earlier, the baby steps, the small steps. So what I think I see from here is that even when life doesn't follow our own plan, progress is possible. The goal is not about having a plan that stick with what we want or get what we plan, but is to make progress no matter what path you're on or what is your line, timeline or whatever. Because progress, but the thing about progress is this, it does not show you immediately. You cannot see or feel or have it immediately all the time. Something yes, but sometimes no. Most of the things in life maybe takes time to have progress. It comes small and therefore sometimes it can go unnoticed. And also because we want to have the big one, sometimes we may disregard progress that are relatively smaller, you know. And his sharing reminded me this connection and compassion both matter as much as information. His courage, his willingness to put himself out here to share his story remind me also of one thing. That is why I also put myself out here to share my own story, my own fear, my own struggle, and also to share what I learned. My goal is just through what I know, which I believe is quite important, but many people are not getting the information or not have the opportunity to hear these different yet important point of views or information and insights. And that's why I want to share this, because I believe I'm making good use of my life energy here. Right? So life can surprise us, but don't forget, the goal is about making progress. The goal is about adapting and start to make progress again. And since we are here, maybe we can also talk about this. Life will not always give you the good thing. And sometimes even it gives you a good thing, the things that you feel happy to have or experience, not everything that happens, right, it can actually present you opposite things. So you will not be happy forever, or you will not have something that once you achieve and you feel like, oh, I'll always be good, my life will always be good. No, it always take a turn, and each of the turn, right, is uncertain, right? It can go both way one. For instance, when I found out I was going to be a father, I was very excited, very happy. We had plans. I suppose all parents, they have plans. We have imagination. We think about what we will do with our child, brushing teeth together, go here, go there, right? Do this, do that, and maybe send them to what kind of school. And then we all had different kind of plans. So that's the good things, right? We imagine how life would looks like. But then along the way, you see all the surprises show up. Uh, for my own case, learning about autism reshaped my journey for the father who shared on YouTube also. But there were also other parents who have maybe gone through more terrible things. Maybe the child has said bye bye to them permanently already, or maybe some of the parents they welcome the child, that one of the parents will pass away, or maybe they will suddenly lost their job, going through different things. So, like many family, some with special needs, some without, we all face uncertainty. Even you don't have child, don't have children yet, you are single or whatnot. Graduating is something students look forward to. But the moment you graduated, if you haven't got a job, you're worried about not having a job. And the ones who have a job, they will be happy, proud maybe, and also feel grateful for having a job already, while their peers maybe still looking on, right? So the one who look at the ones who have job, they feel like, wow, you are so good, you are so lucky. But the one who had job, they will immediately face problem also, face pressure of learning, also adapting to the world, financial adulting and whatnot. And the one who had no job, maybe in the eye of people who was stressed because of their job, they feel that, wow, you are so good, you can still enjoy life, but you don't know what they are struggling and stressed with, right? So every good thing can bring you something that is not good. Every bad thing can bring you something that's good. So, for instance, if someone has lost their job or whatnot, on the surface, it all looks like a negative thing. But if you see light from here, you may be able to extract the positive thing. So, someone who has lost his or her job may take the opportunity and reinvent himself and maybe start a new business, and maybe their life will change. So, it's just not for us to predict. Right? So it applies to many areas of life, not just parenting, like what I said. So it can be illness, it can be job loss, it can be maybe your parents very ill or whatnot. The thing here is that no matter what is happening, we are better if we always remember this. Planning is not about control, because the truth is none of us have control on anything. We should be thinking more about not planning, but more about preparation, about preparing to how can we put ourselves in a better position when something bad happens. We are in a better position to weather it through. We are in a better position to bounce back. We are in a better position to not get worse. Or when something good happens, we are in a position to enjoy enjoy the most. We are in a better position to make it better, something like that, you see. So none of the plan People like to say, I don't plan because all plans will change, right? Life happen. You're right, but does it mean that because of this, we don't plan at all? No. I would suggest that it's not about planning, it's about preparation. Planning does not guarantee us the outcome, but we still have to prepare to welcome certain things and to confront certain challenges. So think about how you want to help yourself to prepare and put yourself in a better position. I think that's very important. So going back to money or financial health, right? Preparation comes from having emergency savings. It's like uh no one want to have accident, but you have airbags. So if it really happens, you are better off. So it comes from having emergency saving. Preparation comes from starting early in building up for your goals, whether it's buying a house, preparing for education fund or retirement, or starting a business, changing a car. Every goal needs you to prepare for it. Whether it's things that you want it to happen, like buy house, travel, or whatnot, or things that you don't want them to happen. For example, falling sick or someone pass away. We don't want it to happen, but we can still prepare for it. So it's a lot more about preparation than planning. So don't just think about because plan will change. I don't plan. It's true, plan will change. It's true, life will always have surprises, and that's why we need to prepare. We need to help ourselves to prepare better. And that comes here. Biggest events that happened last week. I would say on the April 1st, it was the Putra Heights fire explosion things, right? I'm sure you heard of it. It was so sudden. It was definitely very tragic, like war zone like that, right? And definitely it's so surprising. No one see it coming, correct? Just like many things that hit us by surprise. And this is also one time that maybe we want to reflect a bit on this phrase called YOLO, you only live once, and YAGO, you also grow old. I use both of these in my work to teach people about balance. YOLO reminds us to enjoy life because you only live once, you must not live a life that you regret. Yago reminds you to enjoy life, but also to prepare for later. So the truth is, you must keep a balance because when you focus on either one of it, you will lose balance. Focus on living everything today, enjoy the most, here will not be taken care of. Focus on future security, cannot enjoy today. So you need both for your life to be stable. So it's a balance. So in financial health, overspending is YOLO. Spend to enjoy, right? So overspending can put you in a very vulnerable position. It can slowly take away our freedom, although it looks like we are actually having a lot of freedom, but any events that hit you by surprise, you immediately realize that you have no freedom because you YOLO too much. But over saving is the extreme opposite. Over savings means YAGO, focus too much on future security. It can help you to miss your life. Imagine someone who keep hoard a lot and save, never use. Then what's the point of you keeping all these things, right? And then suddenly, boom, life ended. So that's a lot of regret. Or life still not ended, still okay, but no longer have the physical ability or stamina to do what we wanted to do earlier. But we tell ourselves, let's do it later, 20 years later. So YOLO and YAGO, they are all correct. They have their own benefits. The thing is, cannot only use them to at isolation. Use both, two, one plus one, and you get a good balance here. Okay. So I've seen clients put off traveling. They love travel, but they fear overspend their money, so they don't spend. So they only save, and then when we realize that, hey, if you are going through this threat, everything goes according to your plan, you are probably going to die before your money finish. Then their face will change. And the other one who just worry tomorrow, and then you show them if you really pass away today, this is what your family will go through, and their face will also change. So the good thing is we must be able to see and understand our actions and behaviors today, how it shaped our future. Then if you don't like the future, you probably want to rethink your actions and behaviors today. And we can do this through proper, comprehensive financial life planning, where we go through everyone's the goal for now, future, and the end of life throughout the whole life. If this is your life and is a movie, what kind of movie or story you wanted to tell. Then we identify all these important events and milestones. We put we understand how money come in and go out along the different years, and we will be able to know whether in what year you will run out of money, or in what year you will totally finish the last ringgit, and then you will know if I finish my last ringgit when I'm 90 years old, seems very safe. But if you finish your last ringgit when you are just 65, then you know that something needs to change today. Correct? So I've seen others spend everything in their 30s and then struggle deeply in their 40s. Some took a loan to go for travel, vacation, and few years after the vacation, they are still paying for the loan. And some even worse, their loan has become a problem to their life today. So the answer here, I think, is to be mindful about our decisions, to understand if I do this, how it will affect my tomorrow, and if I don't do this, how will it make my tomorrow better or worse. Then we can make a decision that is more deliberated and also a lot more mindful. So I always encourage people to spend. I'm not telling you all this to discourage you or dissuade you not to spend money. In fact, I always tell people to spend money because you need to spend. The key point is you must YOLO with YAGO together. Spend mindfully. Okay. Saving support you to have security. Spending support you to have most fun now. You need both for freedom. You cannot have only one of it. Okay. So all this comes closely to this as we wrap up. There's in case you haven't noticed, right, there's a well-known popular psychology experiment called the invisible gorilla test. In this test, right, I'm recording now, but I might actually put the video, cover my face to show you what the test is all about later when I'm editing it. So the test is about the participant were asked to watch a video where there are many people inside the video, they are passing a ball, and count how many times the ball has been passed around. Okay, how many passes were made. And as if you were the participant, you'll be busy counting, focus on counting the passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until the end, right? Then the question is asking not how many times, they will show you the last question, which is, did you see a gorilla walk through the video? And all the participants will be like, what are you talking about? What gorilla? And more than half of them would not notice that there's a gorilla in the video. Of course, it's not a real gorilla, but it's just a person wearing a gorilla costume. But most people were too busy counting the passes, they missed it. So why am I sharing this? Because when you focus your attention on something, you'll be very good at that thing. Okay, you will count exactly 19 passes, but you might actually, because of that, right, you might miss out something that's very obvious. Okay, so we don't miss out on things. So this is the learning lessons that I can extract from. We don't miss out on things because they are not visible to us. We miss out on things because we are too focused on something else, right? This happens in our financial health as well. We focus on hitting certain income. We focus on getting to a certain level of savings before we allow ourselves to have fun or do certain things. We focus on chasing after market returns. We focus on watching our investment up and down every day, or watching the market or whatnot, until we miss out that there's a gorilla walking through the scene. So that is a bad analogy, because definitely gorillas always symbolize something that it's not cute, it's not something we love or whatnot. But the gorilla that we will miss in life can be things like missing out the time to spending time with your family, your child. Your children only have one childhood, and how many percent of the time have you been participating in the childhood with the excuse or reason that you needed to find more money for the family life? Is that what they really want to appreciate? Maybe don't, maybe not, maybe yes. So you can also miss out this gorilla in the form of busy working or busy having fun, and then your health quality is no longer that good. Maybe you focus on something and it takes out your peace of mind, and you cannot enjoy the moment. You can no longer be in the present with doing what you like, spending time with doing what you love, and also sharing memorable and joyful moments with people you love. So I think sometimes the real happiness can be just there and we miss it because we were too busy looking for something else and looking after something else. Even right now, some people are very obsessed with market news because of the tariff news or whatnot, right? Tariff war. So they watch stock market, what stock up and down day and night, because stock market around the world is day and night. So because they are too focused on the day-to-day fluctuations, they may miss out the long-term opportunity that is maybe presented in this so-called trade war. In fact, study and research shows that uh, most often than not, investors' worst enemy is our own behavior, it's our own emotions. So the market going down, of course, is not good, but it's not the real danger. The real danger here is we react to certain events or any events. When you react to it out of emotion, you are always going to be making decisions that lack good quality. And most often than not, I think it could be decisions that we regret later. Have you ever tell yourself, "Ayah, I shouldn't have said this. Ayah, I should have do this. Ayah, I should have stopped before I said something." So these are all moments that support the fact that when emotions are too overcharged or high, we are susceptible to making poor quality decisions. It's That's not your bad. It's just how human brains are wired to work. Okay, so don't blame yourself, but we can help ourselves, we can train ourselves by giving us a few seconds of space before we do something, say something, or react to something. That will be very useful and helpful. So we all have an invisible gorilla in our head, in our life, in our visual here. So the gift is not to not miss it. You need to learn how to slow down, but not just put more attention to what you are chasing after. Okay. And going back to the overall theme, market will always move, things will always be different, and no one can actually predict what's going to happen next. Just think back, just November 2022. That was the first time ChatGPT was introduced to the world publicly, right? So before that, none of us imagined that one day we'll be using AI in our life to help us with our work, to help us improve productivity. No one expected AI can create photo for you, right? To create pictures that maybe last time needed a lot of time and effort to create, but now in just a split seconds, you get something created for you, right? And so quickly, so good. Sometimes it beats your expectation also. So it's been a good thing that you have this. But again, having this AI or new tools, new technology, it has its good plus point. The downside is it can also become a threat for our job security to certain people. It can actually be a disruption to certain industry, to certain company, to certain business model, or even the whole industry. So just like COVID-19, no one predicted that it will happen. I'm sure no one planned for it, or everyone is surprised that it happens, and it happens at the way it happened, right? And it changed everything. It changed how we perceive working from home. It changed how we perceive life. Many people tell me they learned from the pandemic. We should not delay the important thing until we retire or we are older, because no one really knows how many hours are counting down on top of our head, which is invisible. So now, as we watch the market turn rate go up, go down, go down, go down again, This time, it also triggered by headlines around the tariff war or global trade tensions, right? These are the time that people are asking, should I sell now? Should I go now? Should I have mob in? Is it a good time or bad time? Is this like year 2020, 2021, or 2022 again, when the market also gone through a sharp correction? But I think this is the point that you need to be reminded. No one can predict the market, even the famous, most popular fund manager. They cannot know the next moment where it will go or what will happen or up by how much or down by how much. No one can predict it, but we can prepare for it, which is in line with the theme for this whole episode suddenly. So, tariff war will pass. Something else will follow. It can be another tension, another event, it never ends. Another election, another president, another war, another disruption, another, hopefully we won't have another pandemic. Uh, so the key is maybe in focus on what's important to you and also focus on your life in the big picture way, not just chasing after more return, not just chasing after more money. And to focus your life in a holistic way, you will do it easier, better if you start from getting more clarity about what matters to you in life, more clarity about what are you worried the most about, more clarity about what will makes you happy, really happy, and will take care of your life and makes you have less regrets and more joy. So you, if you do a proper financial life planning exercise, this is what you will get. You will have a stronger peace of mind. You will also have a better understanding about where are you heading to, and you are in the position to support yourself to pivot if you don't like where you're heading to. So your stress can also be managed, and you will then slowly build stronger and better financial health to support you to have sustainable happiness. So if your plan is based on having stronger or more clarity and on your goals and on the events that worries you, stress you out, uh, I think you will find a good anchor for you when events and things are going uncertain. You will still know what you need to do next. All right. So, as I end this episode, maybe this is a practical point to share. That's why we diversify our investment. That's why people say don't put all the egg in one basket. That's why we have emergency savings. That's why good financial health, maybe a practical point on good financial health. Why is important? Because if you have good financial health, it probably means you have diversified investment. You did not put all your egg in one basket. So you are better in terms of risk taking. Okay. Because if you work on good financial health, you would have got stronger, thicker, better emergency savings. You would have learned to live within your means. So you save for your goal, prepare for your goal. You would have learned to borrow responsibly. You would have learned about your money belief that is influencing you, that is shaping your behaviors, that creating our future and outcome and reality called life silently and secretly. So if you have more options in life and have better financial freedom, I always say the true financial freedom is one where we are not free to do anything you like, but free from our money belief. Because most of the time, our money belief limit us, restrict us from fully living the life that we love. Okay, so whether it's AI, it's COVID, or which president or not, or what trade war or whatnot, don't build your plans around predictions because every prediction you do, some you will hit it, some you will not. Most you will not, I would say. So build around who you are. Build your life and your planning and your preparation around you, around what's important to you, and what kind of person you are. Support your identity so you find ways to use your money to really help you to improve your overall quality of life. So the world will continue to change. After one event, we'll have another event or maybe more events. We can stay steady if we have a good idea about where we are heading and we know that we are in a strong position with a good foundation that is steady. Okay, so few years, also 3-4 years ago, I also tried to wrote an ebook. It's called Your Money, Your Life. I talk about how money is not the only goal. That book also mentioned about the invisible gorilla test, and it has a framework on how you can build good cash flow stability for yourself in 3 steps. It has worksheet, it has a practical, easy to read guide there. It's a tool, it's a thing that you can have to support yourself if you want to learn something and start doing something to build better cash flow stability for yourself, which means your in and out is stable. You won't have stress from that. Okay, so the truth is that still rings very true today, even it was 3 years ago. So this is an ebook, and if you want that, right, click the link that I'll put in the show note, and then you will be sent. You will receive a copy of that in your email as well. So, uh, so now I think I said I want to wrap up, but it's almost 50 minutes already. Yeah. So remember, it's about how we live. It's about our life. You only live once, so it's about how you live. How we respond to events and circumstances is about how we grow and how we choose, make a decisions that support us to be in a better position, right? So next week, definitely you will have another episode again. Uh, we will talk back about the more at this moment, I'm still not sure whether what kind of topics I'll be talking about, but definitely since last week episode, I've get some questions around how to plan for financial security for special needs children, especially when the parents are no longer around. But I would say that actually for any parents with any children, so long the child is still depending on you, this is a big question that we all have to think a lot more about. So if my time allow, I would hope to do this next week. But if it's not, I might do some other topics that's easier to prepare next week. And then we will look into this topic in the next few episodes for sure. Okay. So in the meantime, I also would like to invite you to share what's the one thing you have learned. Just one thing only, one thing only. What's the one thing you have learned from these podcasts throughout the past 1 year experience, throughout 50 over episodes? So which episode resonate the most to you, and what are the episode or conversation that you wish to hear but I have not understood your thoughts and haven't catch your brain, so I haven't covered that. So you can send me a message in my socials, DM me, and tell me about it, and then I will try to prepare that episode that can meet your requirement or your expectation or your need. Okay. Uh, really lastly, say thank you to you again, and have a good life. Have a good weekend as well. Continue to do what you love and without compromise your financial health. Continue to spend, continue to save, continue to prepare for the future that you love, and also live the life you love today and now. Okay, bye bye.